He's
So
awesome.
I do want to talk a little bit about the ramifications of this and what it actually means, because we
Okay.
did talk about this with the redhead libertarian,
Hmm.
but what this is going to do in practice is it's going to just prioritize the way that they go after these cells around the country. Right, they're going to be able to seize assets. I mean, the our letter agencies are going to actually put a priority on it, as opposed to
Hmm.
letting the local law enforcement deal with it the entire time. Because we saw, back in 2020, when they had the 100+ days of straight riots all around the
Hmm.
country, nothing
Yeah.
was federally
Yeah.
done at all. I mean,
No,
it was
at
just
all, dude.
literally like they were like, "Yo, we're
Contained,
gonna
maybe.
allow the sovereignty of the states to deal with this stuff," and we saw our local governments
Yeah,
just
exactly.
not do anything about it.
Right. It's almost like the states kind of just cordon the areas and just let them do. Like it was the
Yep.
Wild West, and then just kind of like, okay, we'll go put out the fires legitimately and figuratively.
Yep. So they're going to be targeting specific networks. So they're going to be going after the funders of these,
Good.
and they can potentially bring new charges on them for material support,
Hmm.
or anything like that. So and yes, RICO is an option as well,
Hmm.
but there's probably going to be increased raids into the terror cells around the country.
Hmm.
They can freeze assets now, which is good. But the most important thing about this executive order is that it's not going to stop any. It's not going to stop them from practicing the First Amendment, right? From actually going out there and peacefully protesting. But what it
Correct.
will do is it will be able to stop them from going overboard and having those provocateurs, right? And having the
Yeah.
lawyers on standby. They'll be able to go after these guys, because what Antifa has done brilliantly is, or the ones who run Antifa, is they have
Right.
these organizations that fund these riots, and then they'll have provocateurs in there, basically
Hmm.
to incite more violence during the chaos of the riots. And they'll have lawyers on standby, and people like George Soros have been funding DAs and prosecutors all to
That's
get in there.
correct.
So when these
Yes.
lawyers go into these, they represent these Antifa rioters. They already work with the prosecutors and the DA.
Yes.
That, like, they all know each other, and so they slip by. And so the
Hmm.
justice system has been corrupted in that way. But there's
Yeah.
there's no new powers from this executive order. They're not. He's not actually, like, they want to claim. They're going to claim that this is fascism, right? They're going to claim that, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Trump is a fascist. He's cracking
Hmm.
down on the idea of Antifa, and if you don't like fascism, then you're the target next. That's
Yeah.
not true.
Exactly.
There
Right.
are no new powers with this at all. It is all under
It's
applicable law. It's just where the focus is. That is the only difference.
Yeah. So they're just enforcing existing laws that haven't
Mm-hmm.
been enforced on the state level.
Yeah, yeah. They've just been ignoring it. They've been allowing
Yeah.
Antifa to thrive. They've been allowing these prosecutors and DAs and all of these people to get into power, and then work with the lawyers who represent the rioters,
Mhm.
and have been just getting them back on the streets immediately. So that's coming to an end, which is a good
Yeah.
thing.
And Trump's been going after like these DAs and prosecutors for a very long time. So um, just kind of a complete exposure of the two-tier justice system or lack of justice system for one side and one for the other. So I like the turnabout. I really do. Well, it's not even really turnabout. It's literally just equal enforcement of the law.
Yeah, it's
You
stopping
know?
the exploitation of the goodwill
Hmm.
of the people, because what they've been doing is working, like, technically within the rule system, technically. And
Right.
I say that because they haven't been doing something explicitly illegal, but it's been
Hmm.
very, very, very corrupt, right? Like, they've been donating to get these prosecutors, to get these DAs into office,
Hmm.
who then, so and that's not the illegal part, right? But then the lawyers that represent these rioters
Right.
are buddies with the prosecutors, and so these networks, these cells
Hmm.
that have ties to George Soros and all the other funders, it is
Correct.
now going to start being revealed to the public how
Yeah.
corrupt it's actually been. And what our system has allowed
Hmm.
through this. So I'm looking
It's
forward
like
to it.
they're taking down a separate government, like the Antifa.
Yes. Yeah,
You know
that's a
what I
good way to
mean?
put it.
They like Antifa has their own judicial system, right? And that's what we're trying to expose and take down.
Yes. So if you remember, this was years ago when there were like four Proud Boys, or there were a couple of Proud Boys that got into a scuffle with Antifa,
Hmm.
right? And the Proud Boys worked with the cops, and Antifa, all of them ran away. But there were four Proud Boys that got locked up in prison for like 4 years because they just worked with the cops. None of the Antifa members showed up, nor did they claim victimhood. It was literally, as far as the state was concerned, it was a victimless crime because there were no victims. Right? It was just the idea of Antifa that they had
Right.
that the Proud Boys had assaulted these Antifa members, and so they actually locked up the Proud Boys for 4 years, claiming that they were racist, that they were in a gang, that they were, and so that separate judicial system that you were talking about is
Hmm.
exactly what we're going after. Is exactly what
Yes.
Trump wants to go after, and so that two-tier justice system that's coming to an end. That
Yeah.
the far left rioters, the far left. It's not even far left anymore. It's just become the mainstream left. The
Yeah.
normal
That's
the
perfect.
normal
Yes.
idea that you know domestic violence, or that's maybe a bad way to put it, but violence.
No, you didn't mean domestic violence. You
Yeah,
meant like
yeah, not in the house.
domestically violent,
Yeah,
maybe.
that rioting
That
is not
works.
normal like that. And like I had a commenter
No.
on one of my posts today say that oh, Antifa is just an idea, and if you're anti-fascist, it's all the same garbled nonsense that they use to
Right.
b- to
Propagate these people. Like
downplay the
it,
violence. Yeah,
yeah, like the lefties that are posting like the shots of Normandy when they're getting out of the boats, charge the beach, Normandy Beach, saying these guys were anti-fascist too. I'm like, well, hold up. There is no way you can make the same comparison. You're nobody believes that. I don't even think you believe that. Maybe.
no,
I don't know.
no,
Kind of retarded,
no.
but
No, we've talked about this many times about how
no.
they use words, how they use phrases as tools to achieve their goals. And part of that is to deceive the
Yes.
general public from even having the concept that Antifa can be a funded group
Right.
intentionally designed to create more chaos, to foment chaos in communities that work simultaneously with the media to downplay the violence that they're experiencing,
Yeah.
and have that two-tier justice system behind the scenes because it's not
Yes.
reported on, and how it just continues. That's how that cycle continues. So
So, yeah. What do you need for a terror network?
funding
One,
and
funding.
yeah,
Two, logistics. Three, a structure. Right?
yeah,
Can you still hear me? Okay, my
yeah,
my
yeah,
internet laggy right now. So, and then the ideology. So that's four. So logistics, we know they have all the logistics in the world because we see what they're doing, like with the Chaz and Chop. They have the
yeah,
ability to do that.
yep,
They have the people or the ideology, the anti-fascist movement, but they're just communists in disguise. Then the command structure right now is what they're going after. So that's why Trump did that executive order because he's going after the command structure, and the command structure is in doing so is going to find out the funding, and that's ultimately you shut down the funding like that. That's how we were able to take down ISIS or Al Qaeda so quickly. Is they would use a Hawala Deer network. Essentially, they didn't do like chase to to Wells Fargo transfers. No, they did handoffs, and that's where we figured out they were handing off money to each other, and we would track down the Hawala Deers, the ones that were doing the transfers of money, and that's what would get us to the high valued targets overseas. So just follow the money with everything. We did it for international terrorism. You do it with big pharma. You can do it with these local politicians. You follow the money, and you will find the root.
Yeah, and
Always.
a lot of people will deny, or they're like, a lot of people that have participated in some of these protests that,
Hmm.
the right always says, "Oh, it's Antifa." A lot of those people don't get paid, right? Because and so they use that as the idea, like, "Oh, well, I didn't get paid, and I went to this," right? It's like, well, you're one of the useful idiots that aren't getting paid to do so, to
Yeah.
not structure,
You know that.
all the mysterious bricks that showed up that were for construction that were never, like,
Yeah.
nobody reported any bricks stolen. It was just like, oh, magically there's going to be a riot and bricks showed up, the pallet of
Right.
bricks. And no, there's definitely organizations. I mean, what is it, Rose City Antifa, that
Yes.
has a legit page that you can
Mhm.
sign up
Yeah.
and then become recruited and become part
Just
of
how
this
like the Proud Boys
structure.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So what you're
Yep.
saying is, so there are unpaid Antifa protesters and paid. So the paid ones are grifters.
Yeah, well, yeah, the paid ones are grifters, but they
Okay.
also
I was
are
making the
are.
joke.
I know, but they're agitators. So in our
Right.
reality, they will go into these riots and they won't necessarily
Mhm.
perform the violence, but they will set the opportunity for that stuff to happen. So, like,
Gotcha.
with the pallet of bricks,
Hmm.
right? One person, like, during a riot, one person will, like, go up and kick a door, and then you'll have one of the Antifa guys there, and he'll hand a person a brick and be like, you should throw this brick into that window there. Nobody will notice. And so and then they throw the brick. So the agitators, the ones influencing this violence, they're smart about how they play this out. They're in
Yeah.
these riots to just make it more destructive by using the useful idiots and the chaos of the situation in order to actually make it worse. And
Yeah.
they've done very, very well with it, in all reality.
Liberty we pray, defending our home, guardians of light. Together we stand, tribe of patriots unite. Battle in the heartland, voices pure and loud, building up the fortress among the